I thought you'd be in the hot tub.
Welcome back to episode 226 of Tall Boy Radio, and we are coming to you live from amongst the dandelions in the untended gardens of TBR HQ. Joining us as ever is Gaza. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Evening all, evening the world. Really looking forward to this. And I don't have to really do the intro that much. If you're watching, you'll actually see that there's somebody sitting to my right. Now, normally I say, oh, it's fascinating. I can't wait to get to know them. And but I actually know this guy who lives relatively close to myself and Beans. So I think without further ado, I think what we need to do is we need to hand it over to our guest just to say his hellos and introduce himself.
That's it. We'll come to Dave in a minute. Pete, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going?
Jolly good. Yeah, we're all well. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Suffering with a cracked rib, I think, at the moment. Went back to playing football. Not great at my age, and got a fairly hefty blow to the chest. So I've been suffering a bit. So apart from that, all good.
I'm 51 years old and playing football. You get what you deserve.
Well, yeah, I'm not the oldest there, but there's a couple that are a bit older than me. But yeah, it's not great. It's not ideal.
No. So, as Gaz said, we are joined by one of our neighbours who lives just down the road from TBR HQ, and he's going to be talking to us as well. Amongst other things, we're going to be chatting a little bit of beer because we're all partial to the amber nectar or the blue stuff in my case. And he's also launched a bit of a venture, so we should probably talk about that first, because it's something we're going to be pushing a little bit on Tall Boy Radio. We're going to be giving you a discount code later as well, so you can win some money and you can win it at a discounted price. So you can't really argue with that, can you, Pete? Did you want to tell us a little bit about your venture and how you got involved and how you got started and where the ideas came from? Just sit a bit closer to the mic as well, dude.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, where do we start? I guess, really the idea is a bit of a slow burner. Obviously, partaking in these raffle websites in the past. I've had a bit of luck last year. Won a couple of nice vehicles.
Yeah,
you did.
We can see that he's playing it down quite a bit. He's playing it down quite a lot, to be fair.
So, if ever you wondered who wins these competitions, well, Pete, you do, don't you?
The hefty price of £40.
Yeah.
It was a six-figure sum in terms of value of the vehicles.
That's it. So you won. Well, we won't give out your cars just in case somebody. We know you live down the road. Gaz has given his address out about twice on the podcast. But yeah, you won an Aston Martin as well, didn't you?
That's incredible. It is incredible. And like I say, you always look at these sort of ads and these sort of giveaways, and you think, nah, really? And you think, no, nobody ever wins that, and it's just for show. And these people that come on and go, woo, I've won and all of that, you just think, nah, bollocks, I'm not having that. But actually, here is a guy that genuinely has won, and not just like one, he's won two.
Yeah.
So it's like fair play to him.
And not just two at the same time. These weren't separate occasions, were they?
Yeah.
I was having a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very good. Did you know what the lottery numbers are tonight?
I didn't win £11 on the lottery.
Pete, you're going to have to get much closer to the microphone, by the way.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah, much closer. Right next to you.
Right into the front.
Right into front. There you go.
Awesome. Love it, that. Nice one.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Jobs done. So yeah, so you won two cars. Is that what's inspired you then to set up your own? Is it? Well, it's a limited company, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, all people on board. So I've been involved setting up a couple of other sites, I'd say, over the last couple of years, and get to know what happens behind the scenes. Obviously, my line of work is in IT consulting, so I've got the skills to do this myself. So you know, it's sort of been there burning in the background. But I'm probably saying 4 weeks ago, I thought, well, you know, let's go for it.
Fair play.
Why not? Why not?
So it's taken about 3 weeks to get everything all up and running. Set up, you know, limited company, bank accounts, payment gateways,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And off the back of that, obviously, built a website, posting, did a bit of development work, advertising, and obviously with a bit of a concept, a theme, which I think is quite important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I've gone down with sort of, you know, retro arcade sort of feel, hence the competition arcade. So yeah, that's really where the idea was sort of born. Early days, we only really launched this week.
Sorry, pal.
But for those of you that are watching on the live stream, I'd have just literally thrown his bit all over my shoes.
That's definitely going to stay in.
That's definitely going to stay in. Yeah. So I'm just curious. So it's a competition giveaway website. So where do you sort of source your prizes from? How do you get them to sort of buy into your, I suppose, your market, your website, how does that whole conversation work? Do you approach them and go, look, would you be prepared for X, Y, or Z? And so do they then get paid for that? How does that work?
Well, yeah, so there's a couple of things there. Initially, we're offering cash prizes, obviously King. You know, a lot of these other competition websites, they offer cash alternatives, which quite often or not, people want cash, obviously, cost of living and everything else. So in terms of prizes, you know, it depends. So we're sort of looking at like tech initially, you know, like products, technology, cash,
Lego.
Lego, yes, that has been. We all love Lego. I'm in the middle of building a DeLorean at the moment.
Nice work.
Nice.
Slow progress, but we'll get there eventually.
Nice stuff. Yeah. So it's a good concept. And like I say, competition arcade, it has a retro arcading look to it as well, which I know for people our age,
Absolutely
takes us back to stuff like Mad Dog McCree and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is a good concept. Obviously, it must take some, you know, I think we chatted the other day and we were saying these sort of things grow incrementally. So you start off small, you get people bought into it. Facebook is a great way of advertising and getting your name out there. But like you say, giving stuff away for free, you know what I mean? People are going to get involved in that write-off. So it'd be interesting to see how quickly it grows, because some of these, like say the stuff that you want, they must have started somewhere. Yeah. I'd be curious to know how they got there started. You know, you can't just give away an Aston Martin or a car or anything like that straight away. So they must have started elsewhere. So I mean, is that your dream, to build it up to that, and then you've got your own business and you don't need to do the day job?
Well, never say never. You know, I've been in IT obviously a long time, so you know, maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah.
But you know, as you said, obviously everyone started somewhere. So you know, a lot of these sites started out sort of around lockdown time.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, I've had a spare few quid looking around, and you know, tend to find obviously people weren't going out, so they were doing lives and you know, launching these. So it's good source of entertainment. Obviously, as we were all kept indoors back in the day. But as you say, you know, it's incremental. Obviously, you know, Facebook is a really good platform.
Yeah.
So you can, you know, start out by building a community. Obviously, advertising as well. Obviously, to some of the other social platforms too. You know, for me, that's all new, because you know, I'm a gentleman of a certain age.
Absolutely. Yeah. None of us are very good at technology, are we? You know,
clearly not.
Clearly not, Dave.
So yeah, obviously, you know, learning kind of you know, interesting videos and try and get some engagement. But you know, as you say, starting off with some free, instead of having regular free competitions, obviously helps to sort of build that target audience.
And I think, you know, when you look at these sort of concepts, and as Adam said, you know, not everybody realizes that, you know, you can start off and, you know, go and walk out for an Aston Martin or a Porsche or a Lamborghini or whatever it may be that ultimate. And you look at you know, there's various sort of adverts on TV now, and there's like, you can win this car, you can win this house, or And obviously the companies that you see on TV, they don't start there, or if they do, they've got huge backers and this, that, and the other. So I think it helps in as much as, there's been a couple of winners so far from Pete's venture, and you think, oh, actually, I know them, or they've won, and when you can see that, then that just then, I suppose, grows the momentum for people to say it isn't gimmicky and it's not a con, because obviously there's people worried about being a con and stuff. But you think, no, actually, genuine people are winning genuine prize, and that just then grows, and then it's that word of mouth, and then it's that social media footprint, and then it grows and it grows and it grows, and all of a sudden, then you get to a point where you think, well, actually, we can now start to offer this, or we can now start to offer this, and obviously it's in all your projections and this, that, and the other, and we won't get into the sort of the boring numbers and stuff, but businesses don't make money initially. Pretty much everybody knows that, and so it is a slow burner, and it is about growing the concept and growing the market and all of that sort of stuff. So I'll be fascinated. Obviously social media, I've liked it. Loads of people on our estate have liked it, and it's just about spreading that word and trying to grow the market and trying to grow the interest, trying to get people to buy the tickets, etc. And then if you know someone, it's like, yeah, they've won it, so why would I not attempt to win it, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. You look at things like Omaze, for example. And,
Yeah.
Their entry fees, obviously, not cheap, like £10, but you could win a £3 million house.
Yeah.
For example, we're talking, smaller values of money here. So things like 99p or 50p for a ticket.
Yeah.
And obviously, we focused on sort of low odds. For anyone who may work for a bookmaker, obviously know all about that.
Well, you say that, some people do.
Yeah, I think we all have at some point.
Yeah, you did too.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's just trying to keep things humble and transparent as possible.
Yeah.
And we want to also use that as a platform as well for the local businesses as well. So
Yeah.
Let's just say making cakes or something like that. We may want to offer a platform for businesses who are going through a startup phase.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And I think that's really important, isn't it? I think it's about you grow that online community, and we always said we were starting sort of podcasting 4 years ago now, sort of thing. So and we always said that the podcast community, you just thought it would be a place where people aren't very welcoming and this, that, and the other, and actually it's completely opposite, and people are really supportive of your podcast and willing to go out of the way and stuff. So I suppose it's just about that networking and that on that social media bit, and that growing that community and supporting your local communities. And if there is a startup business out there, then you started out, so then why would you not help somebody else start out? Because actually, they're offering something on your platform, but in a way it's a completely different market, so you're not in direct competition with each other, so why would you not do that? Yeah, and it's just about growing that sort of presence, isn't it?
Indeed. And if you are listening to this podcast and you're interested in getting involved in it, you can search it out online on Facebook, Competition Arcade. And for your first entry, if you use the promo code TallBoyRadio15, you will get 15% off your entry. So can't argue with that, can you?
Hey, everybody loves a good discount, don't they?
Indeed. Definitely here at Tall Boy Radio we do. So just as a thought then, so we're talking a little bit down the line in the future, but we've had startup companies on before. We had Double Trouble Gin on, didn't we? And we had them on the night before they went down and pitched on Dragon's Den. Is that something you would ever do?
Well, I have seen other similar websites pitching on there recently. Elite competitions, and they got the backing, I think, of
did they?
Dragons.
Wow.
So it's obviously a solid concept, something that can grow and can scale.
Yeah.
Obviously, marketing is a big factor.
Yeah.
Success of that, and obviously that's a good pool of prizes, sourcing those prizes, obviously as well. I think that's where the real value was. But never know.
Indeed. And I suppose, sorry, I'm just going to jump in here. I suppose when you look at trying to scale a company, and I might be being quite naive here, but in terms of property, you don't need huge warehouses for that you own in terms of sort of storing your product. You don't have a lot of sort of equity tied up in stock and a lot of cash side, because it's not your products as such. You're just facilitating that going from person A to person B almost. So
absolutely.
You haven't got all those overheads where people will talk about a lot of the time. It's like, oh, we've got to have a storage lockup, and we've got to have this, and we've got to have that. You actually won't have that. So a lot of your costs, I suppose, would be on the marketing and the advertising and that. But once you've got that presence, I suppose it's just about, trying to exploit it into various other markets, I suppose, and that's where the main expense will be.
Yeah, absolutely. There's obviously other websites out there.
Yeah.
Who specifically deal with cars, for example. They have fairly large units with 30, 40, 50 cars.
Yeah.
Mechanics on site, detailing on site. So obviously you can get a good flow of stock coming through, I guess.
Yeah.
If you look at it like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously get it prepped on the website and obviously sold.
Yeah.
I guess it all depends on where you want things. Obviously, you could be dealing with houses, cars, vans, or smaller, more affordable. Obviously, the bigger prizes, either you're gonna have to sell more tickets,
Yes,
or you're gonna have to increase the price.
Increase the price of the ticket, or sell more of them, I suppose, and I suppose that's where that's your sort of you catch 22. Is that, do you put the price up and risk selling less, but then each one is the value of each is more, or do you, or the flip side of that is you keep your prices particularly low, but you need a huge footfall and a huge sale in terms of number of tickets in order to then meet the price of the product, etc., etc. So that must be quite a difficult sort of concept, or not concept, but difficult decision to make, I suppose.
Indeed, Dave, go on. What are your thoughts on this? You're a man of business, so you tell us.
I'm just trying to figure out what the concept is, because you kind of launched into it knowing what it was, but I didn't really explain it very well for because you obviously already know about it, so I don't really know what it is. It sounds a bit like I don't know. Maybe Pete, you can actually explain what it is for someone that knows nothing about it, but get yourself really close to that microphone, Pete.
Okay, so essentially, it's a raffle website. So I'm guessing you've seen adverts on the tally for things like Omaze, where you can buy a ticket and win a house.
Is it BOTV, where you buy a ticket, win a car?
Yeah.
That's a concept. Or Omaze, where you buy a ticket for an X amount of pounds, £10, and you go into a raffle and win a £3 million house in Cheshire or whatever. Surely you've seen them, Dave.
No, not at all.
Dave, do you know what a raffle is?
I know what a raffle is.
There you go. You're on board.
There you go. You know the concept.
So
Buy a
is
ticket,
this,
win a prize. Woo!
It's like a digital tombola.
so is this classed as gambling?
No. So it's classed as a skill-based competition. So like you'll get advertised on the tally. I guess something like, what color is Sonic the Hedgehog? It's a skill-based question where you have to obviously have some common sense to understand what the answer to that question is.
Yeah.
It's obviously, you want a question that's too hard, but it still needs to be a question nevertheless. So it's not, don't need to be governed by the.
No, it's full enough actually. It's funny if you say that. So obviously I did many years in retail, and when we were raising money for charity, one of the things we'd have to do is raffle stuff off. But I shan't say which company I was waiting for at the time, but they fell foul of the law because of that simple rule. It was a raffle and you give the prize away. So what we had to do then was ask a very simple question to the person who won to get around that sort of rule, that it's not gambling. It actually is a skill-based thing, because you have to answer a question, which is interesting. I
realised that. Yeah. I genuinely never realised that. And so, okay, so
we had
dots on a Thursday, and someone said, "Do you want a raffle ticket?" And I go, "Yeah, okay." And then so I can go up to the guy and say, "Oh, hold on a minute, you're gambling there. Can I ask you a question?" Yeah, exactly. Still out.
So
I genuinely didn't know that though.
But there are other things about it. So things like you need to offer a free entry route as well. So you need to offer like a postal entry route,
right?
As well. So either you can buy online, or you can enter once for free via
so people can literally post your address, which I won't give out, by the way. But so people can post your address, and effectively and you see it on TV where you say postal entries are accepted at blah, and
exactly,
you said,
we've got a forwarding
right.
box.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. if you've ever bought a bottle of Coke and they're doing their competition giveaways, it always says on the bottle, no purchase necessary.
Yeah.
And that is that rule, yeah.
I've never
right,
bought anything on the sandwich before.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I get it. I genuinely like every day's a school day. You know, I genuinely didn't realize that. You know, if from a raffle point of view, that potentially would constitute then gambling. So therefore, there's that skill-based element. So you have to have either some knowledge or some skill in order to do X, Y, or Z.
Exactly. You look at BOTB, they don't offer a question. It's spot the ball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, essentially, you
Mark
plot
where you think.
where you
Yeah.
think the
Yeah.
ball is, and then they essentially have a panel of judges,
Right.
mixed up through like referees or the sports officials, and they come to a census as to where they think the ball is, and that's how the winner is identified.
Wow. Okay.
For that website. So it's all very interesting. You know, I've not done spot the ball since the days of the pools. Back in the
I was going to
day.
say, you'll be talking about doing the pool coupons in a minute.
Yeah.
That shows how we are.
But yeah, it's all. It just obviously highlights that skill can be applied to.
Yeah.
To
I didn't know that.
Indeed. Does that surprise you, Dave?
No, because we have the same thing on our platform. We have a lottery, and to avoid it being gambling, there's a skill element where you basically have to go to the website and find the entry lottery ball to click on that to enter. So it's the same principle. Yeah.
So literally, Dave, you just have to basically maneuver the mouse to find it on a particular website to then click on it, and that would constitute then the skill-based element that gets around it.
It's within our website, so we'll say something like, you go and find the lottery ball. It's on holiday, and then you go to the holiday section of the website where all the holiday discounts are, and on that page there's a big sort of enter now button sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fair play. And while we're on the subject as well, Dave, something that we definitely should mention as well is something that you and I visited on Thursday of last week. Did you want to tell our listeners a little bit about that? Tough to talk. So we had Erin Frost on the podcast a little while ago, a men's mental health charity, suicide prevention. Dave and I went to the book launch for the Man Up Tough to Talk book, dude. Did you want it? I think it's worth mentioning that on the podcast, isn't it? Because we went to that and it was it was quite a moving event, wasn't it?
Yeah, so as Adam said, I'd met Erin at a work event, in a HR event, got chatting, invited her onto the podcast to talk about the Tough to Talk, which is the men's sort of charity to prevent suicide. And then she invited us to go to this book launch where Steve Whittle, I think is the name of the guy who's put the book together. And it's a collection of basically 20 men's stories about how they have battled suicide, and it's their story told from their perspective, with things you can learn by I guess associating your own life with the challenges that they've been through and how they've overcome it and how they've sought help and how they've come out the other side of it. And it was quite a sombering evening in many ways. It was held at Cooper Parry, next to East Midlands, and Cooper Parry, a massive organisation that were basically offering up their offices to host it, which was great from them to do that. And there must have been 70, 80 people there for the book launch, I would say. And they had several talks about people that had been directly impacted by suicide. And it was quite a deep evening, but at the same time, it was quite uplifting to see the number of people there and the conversations that were being had. So it's a fantastic charity, and I think me and Adam are probably going to have conversations with one of the guys we were speaking to there to see what else we can do, see if we can get them involved with the football club that I'm involved with back in Alsasia. Because obviously it's predominantly men and boys that are in that of teenage age. So yeah, it's a great charity, and it was a really good event to go to.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that we set off of the back of that as well, we will do something with the podcast. Whether it's this one, or there is a separate project that we launch alongside it. Yeah, we always are looking for other avenues, aren't we?
Looking for the next big thing.
Exactly. And it's something that we want to do because it is something that you need to make a difference. Like the biggest challenge that we said there was it was very powerful. It was very impactful. I forget the lady's name, but she stood up and she put a picture of her husband up, young lad, fit looking lad, looking really well, looked mentally well, but had unfortunately had his struggles and taken his own life. And to look at this guy's face, who looked like he had, the world was his oyster. It was difficult to hear his story, and see the picture of him carrying, holding her 2 young children. And we said it's, everybody who's there has been affected in one way or another by suicide. And that's why it's important to them. What we want to do and what they need to do as well is find an avenue for people to start talking about it before they're affected by it.
Yeah.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, people know I work in education, so we sort of work quite hard just into trying to raise awareness. And is it the biggest killer in males under the age of 25 or 30 or whatever it is suicide, or whatever, and I think it's all very well, all good and well. Sometimes people struggle with mental health, and when they struggle with mental health, and it's about talking to them at that point. But then it's also about, well, actually, how do you recognize that before they get to that point, before they get to that crisis point? And there's lots of support out there, and it is getting better. Don't get me wrong, it's not anywhere near where we want it to be, but it is getting better in terms of the support that's out there. But it's raising the awareness that it's okay to talk at any point, and it's not just when you're getting either close to that crisis or at that crisis point. It's actually what we should be doing is it should be an open and a frank conversation, just in terms of, how are you, mate? And there was something on the radio, and I can't think what it was. I probably listened to TalkSport or something. There was an ad on, and it said, send someone a text. And we did this last year, a couple of years ago. We said, look, go through your phone book. Go through, literally pick up your phone now, and there's my phone. So go through your phone and literally message somebody that you haven't messaged for 12 months, going, "Hi, mate, I haven't spoken to you a while. How is everything? Is everything okay?" Because actually, that one text, that one reach out, that one olive branch might just be that one thing that one person needs in order to then either bring them back or to start a conversation or whatever it may be. And it's about doing that all the time, not just when you realize that somebody is in crisis, because at that point they obviously need professional help and this, that, and the other. But it's about just having that really open, that frank conversation about we really, really, really should be just talking to each other all the time about it. And just the last point I'm going to make was sending a message saying to somebody, "You okay, pal?" They'll fire back going, "Yeah, sound." It's really important that you send the second message going, "Are you sure?" And it's that, "Are you sure? I'm here if you need me." Because people are really easy just to go, yeah, fine, I'm okay, and brush it off. But actually send that second question, that follow-up question, "Mate, look, I'm here if you need me. I'm literally like at the end of the phone, end of a text, just text me if you need me." And if they don't, and that's amazing. But there might be the person that does need that, and therefore you've reached out to them, and it's about that. And that's my take on it. And that's what I obviously I say I work in education, I work with kids and stuff, so that's my take on it.
Indeed. And it's an important take as well, Gazza. You like to say it's something that we have done in the past, it's something we do in the future. And watch out, because we will be doing something. We're dead serious about this. We'll be doing something about it in the very, very near future. Now, something else we want to talk about is a little bit more lighthearted, because Pete, you enjoy a good beer, don't you? And we've talked about beer on the podcast a lot. Next week, we've got a beer reviewer on from, I think, Ohio.
Good work.
Indeed. So we'll be getting his take. But yeah, dude, tell us about the beer you're drinking tonight then. What have you brought with you?
So, it's a traditional German wheat beer. Probably one of all-time favorites. Of any other style, always go for a wheat beer if there's one available. Only seconded by a wheat beer called Uberweiss. This particular one is Andex 5.5%.
Nice.
But it's got depth. It's got some texture as well, which is always good for wheat beer.
And where'd you pick that up from then? Where is that some Tom's Tap or something like that? Or
so this particular one you can get from Hip Hop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or Beers of Europe.
Right.
So normally do a regular order from there with friends and get some
nice.
over. But yeah, absolutely. If there's any beer on, there's a wheat beer there. I would always go for a wheat beer.
Nice.
All day long.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a. I don't mind the odd wheat beer or two. I'm sort of similar. If I'm honest, if you can see that glass down there, I mean, what is that? I mean, that looks like a science experiment going wrong. I'll be honest with you. So I couldn't drink anything like that.
Dude,
And
it's amazing.
it really doesn't look. It doesn't even look amazing. I'll be honest with you. Like
It's
you need a fork and a spoon for that, dude.
You need a spoon. It is thick. It's called Staggeringly Stupid. It's a blue Hawaiian smoothie sour from the good folks at Vault City, and I've got one of their stouts to have afterwards, which is a
You're not putting it in that glass.
no separate glass. Separate glass.
Say Jesus.
Yeah, and it's 14.5% as well. The next one.
Oh,
So
that's an absolute beauty. I mean,
beauty.
I you can't see that. I've just got like a vocation, basically a life or death. It's just an IPA, like a sort of 6.5%, which is middle of the road. It's a bit stronger than your traditional sort of supermarket beers or whatever. Not quite your 8, 9, 10%. Really strong stuff. But I quite like the vocation stuff. They do some quite decent beers. And when you see these on in our local supermarket, I can offer like I think it's like 2 for $10 or something. It's like on packs of 6 or 4 or whatever. So decent. So, but I quite like that.
It's a good beer. Have you got a beer on tonight, Dave? Are you on the all alcohol free?
Alcohol free, left 0 as usual. I'm afraid. Sorry about that. I'll tell you what I've been drinking lately is the Guinness 0. I've never been a stout or Guinness drinker, but I tried one and actually it's quite nice.
I concur with that. I mean, I like Guinness and I go to places. I'll drink Guinness just if we go out. I've never been to Dublin, so I've never experienced a sort of a Guinness in Dublin. But I agree with you, Dave. Actually, the Guinness 0 it does lack something, obviously, but it's actually not too bad. And I don't mind it if I'm honest. But I say obviously you prefer the real stuff, but the 0% is not too bad.
I'm heading over to Dublin next month, so might put that to the test.
No, good, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've never been. It's on this sort of bucket list to go. And I know Adam likes his, he likes his stouts, and hence what he's just poured there, and spilt it again, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch it on a live stream, honestly, he needs a bib. This guy,
I do.
He's horrendous.
I do. Well, funnily enough, actually, when you say there's a 4th member of Tall Boy Radio who's not with us tonight,
yeah,
because he's in Ireland.
Is that where he is?
He's in Ireland drinking the stout himself tonight. God bless him. Yeah.
Will he drink the stout?
Yeah,
will he?
Probably. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he was planning on heading to Conor McGregor's bar as well.
That's more like it. If you know the 4th member of TBR, then yes, I suspect that he's probably drinking a little bit of the older Irish whiskey as opposed to the
100%
the Irish stout.
Picked himself up a bottle of Jameson's at the airport. I think he did. A bottle of Jameson's,
and it's gone by. And it's gone by the time he landed.
Wife and child in tow with him.
Oh, of course, yes. That won't stop him.
Yeah. I was going to say, Dave, you obviously don't know very well because that makes absolutely no difference whatsoever.
Indeed. So, trips that we've taken recently, one that Gaz and I should have been on, but we are eternally shit, as anybody who knows us will tell you. So, you made it to Berlin, didn't you, recently for your, well, we won't say which birthday, but for your birthday. Tell us about that trip, dude.
Well, I'm more surprised that I made it to 40 in all fairness.
I'm more surprised you made it back.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Making it there wasn't a problem. Making it back might have been the issue.
Yeah, so we headed to Berlin for my 40th. Some phenomenal bars. A couple of good friends of mine goes quite often. So guarding star around there to sort of the bars to check out and the breweries. The good old time was beery. Essentially, we were on City, which again were like sours, smoothies. I think we all floated out of there. It was very difficult to leave that particular bar. We had a rough schedule for the day. It got written off. Literally from the second place that we went. We just stayed in there for hours.
I'll say it. Pete's been pretty polite Chris is a fucking pisshead. So I mean, I'll say it as it is, and you won't mind me saying that. And he genuinely drinks, very strong, sort of, you sort of craft type beers, and we'll think nothing of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% beers, and he's like, oh, let's have this one. This is really cool. It's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Why don't you have this one? Yeah. What's that? So that's an 11, and that's a 12, and that's a 9, and before you know it, you've drank 3 or 4 of these, and it's like, woo, okay, where are we next? And you go somewhere next, and like you actually then don't remember anything about that.
There was one started at 19.4%.
No, wow. Not knife and fork for that, or spoon.
Gee whiz, yeah.
Yeah, it was just incredible beer. In beer, it had a secret room at the back, which was air conditioned, and like a special menu. There was some really expensive.
Wow, really?
Okay. There, like you're talking
Brilliant.
3 figures.
Wow.
For some of the beers there. Definitely gonna have to go back.
£2.99. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
If only.
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, the Europeans do good beers. They do beer a lot better than Don't get me wrong. In terms of the craft beer market in the UK, actually now it is strong. But in terms of our generally produced stuff like Carlin, it's like piss. But yeah, you head to Berlin. Germans do fantastic beer. The Belgians, like me and Andy, went to Belgium a few years ago. Andy lived in Brussels for a while. And gee whiz, we had some fantastic beers. But you're off somewhere soon as well, aren't you? Where you get a few decent beers.
Yeah, so me and the good lady are off to Amsterdam. So we fly next Monday, early Monday morning, and we got a couple of things sort of booked in terms of a couple of museums and Anne Frank House and this, that, and the other. But I've said I am having some beer. Like I'm not going to go to Amsterdam and not go and sit and enjoy sort of a couple of craft beers and go and explore a couple of the bars. And my wife's not a huge drinker. I don't give a shit basically, so I'm going to go. And if you can have soft drinks or beer, I'm not really that bothered. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I've never been before. You've been quite a few times, haven't you? You said you always had sort of good experiences there. Well, actually, we've got a couple of the traditional sort of the Van Gogh Museum, the Rijksmuseum, and we've got is the whatever it's called, like lookout over Amsterdam, or various other things. But I've definitely said that I want to spend a couple of hours in a craft beer place, just sample what they've got to offer.
Oh yeah, definitely do. Head to Liedersplein, head to Rembrandtsplein, grab yourself a beer and just enjoy the sights.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's what I want. I want to go there and I just want to sit and chill, and after perhaps a museum we've been biking or walking or whatever, just sit and chill for a couple of hours, a couple of beers, watch the world go by, see the sights and sounds.
You ever been, Pete?
I've been to Amsterdam, yeah, not for a while.
Yeah.
Even have good cake shops over there. Yeah, I've not been for a long time.
You see, the cake shops, I am curious and I'm mildly curious, but then I think I've never been. So if I go to the special cake shops, then like, is that going to massive? Am I going to have not like a massive reaction? I'm going to die or anything, but like, is that going to make me go like, oh, and not want to do anything else after, and then I'm going to miss out on X, Y, and Z? And I don't know. I'm in a real catch-22.
I can tell you. So I went to the coffee shop. I went to the coffee shop and I had a coffee and I did smoke a bit of stuff that was frankly far too strong for me. and it led to an incident that I'm not going to share on the podcast because frankly it is deeply, deeply inappropriate and I don't want to put it out there. But yeah, I lost an afternoon. And it was something else. It's just not an appropriate story. I'll tell you guys after we're off air. But gee whiz, it was a bad one.
So, and that's so. Look, I'm mildly curious. I'm not, and I'll tell you now, I'm not a huge sort of partaker of sort of drugs and this and that. But I get the vibe from Amsterdam, and I get when people go over there. I get it, 100%. I get it. I'm not worried about the reaction. I'm just worried about it then impacting on my ability to then go and do X, Y, or Z after that, I suppose. So I suppose take it on advisement.
It won't affect you long term. You know what I mean?
Oh no, not about that. It's just like afternoon. Yeah, and that's the thing. So it's like if I'll go and let's just say I'll have a coffee and I'll have a cake or whatever, and then obviously we got tickets to the Rijksmuseum. Yeah, that's not happening. You know what I mean? And I suppose that's my. I've never been. So I want to go and explore everything that Amsterdam has to offer, and the red light district and all the other things. And if I then went back, I think if I went back, then I might consider then going to one of the coffee shops and sampling something, because then I've seen everything and I don't need to worry about losing an afternoon or an evening or whatever it may be, because it'd be sods law. I'll something will happen. I'll be just laughing. Literally, knowing me, something will happen, and the missus will never forgive me, and that'll be it then. Not only will I not enjoy it, so now I'll be divorced. You know.
Stay away from the canals.
Exactly.
I made it back to the hotel after. I made it back to the hotel, and I just remember my face hurt because I was smiling that much. It was strong stuff. What about yourself, Dave? You ever found yourself in Amsterdam in trouble?
I have been to Amsterdam, and no, I've not found myself in trouble. Mainly because I don't partake in the same substances that you obviously did.
It's one of those things. You're there, it's legal, you're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't partake in anything while I was there, but I also went for a walk around the red light district, because that's eye opening. That is eye opening.
And I've got and look, I'm really looking forward to that, and just because again people will talk about going to Amsterdam and did you go to red light district? Did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm really looking forward to just experience. I'm going with my wife, obviously. I'm not going to experience it to that extent, but
listen, you'll get off at it. I can tell you that, sunshine.
2 for 1.
Oh yeah. They'll sort you out with something.
They'll sell you anything over there. But so it's one of those. Look at we're going to go to the red light district. We've looked at it. It's something that I want to experience. I want to go through, walk around, and see it. So absolutely no bother with that. But I think just let's just say sort of mind-altering substances, I'm on this visit a little bit less likely to partake in, just because I've never been before, so therefore I don't want to miss anything.
No. I don't know. I'm not going to delve too deep, Dave. But did you guys go for a walk around the red light district? Did you take a walk past those windows?
A bit of window shopping.
But, you can look, you can't talk.
Yeah,
exactly.
Honestly, phenomenal. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Honestly, it's ridiculous. You're walking past and you're thinking, "Oh my days, this can't be real." But it is. You know what I mean? That is what's going on. It's there. It's presented. That woman is in the window, and we went past and we were looking, and obviously, after about the third dig in the ribs, she'd given up because I was staring. I was like a kid in a candy shop. And then we went past it, and like the guy says to me, "You coming in?" And I was like, "No, I'm with the wife." He goes, "We got something for couples too."
Is that Steve McLaren talking?
It was Steve McLaren. Yeah, my accent was slightly worse than his, actually. But yeah, honestly, it's a phenomenal holiday, dude. You'll have an amazing.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And so we were there for a couple of nights. We fly out early Monday morning, and then we come back late, sort of Wednesday. So our flight back isn't till I think 10 o'clock. I think we leave is at Schiphol. So we leave Schiphol at 10, and we get back into Manchester like 20 past 10. So you're on a plane for like an hour and 20 minutes. It's like 20 minutes. I'm going back in time here. What's this about? If I do that enough times, I'll be 21 again in minutes. So basically it's 2 nights, but we land I think about 9 o'clock or something like that. So we literally have like pretty much 3 full days, which is be amazing. Probably from what I've heard, just enough. Don't need any longer. It's enough for you to do the things you want to do and see the things you want to see and experience everything that it has to offer. So yeah, can't wait.
Indeed. You got any planned this for you, Pete?
No, we actually just yet.
No?
Still up for discussion.
Fair play.
Fair. To get something in the diary soon now.
We well, this is going to sound like slightly not nasty, but like we're going to come back from Amsterdam, and then the kids are like, "Oh, do we want to go anywhere?" And we're actually we come back on the Wednesday. We're actually potentially looking on the Friday, Saturday. Maybe it's like a completely different holiday. Maybe going to Krakow and maybe doing Auschwitz.
Oh wow!
So both our girls want to really do Auschwitz, and I'd love to go. And no, that's the wrong phrase. Would I love to go? No, probably not. Do you love to go there? No. Is it an amazing holiday? Yeah, but for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. So we're possibly thinking of doing just a couple of nights in Krakow, maybe the Friday, Saturday night, and go and see Auschwitz. Everybody that I've spoken to has said it's the most harrowing, haunting, like amazing, all in one weird maelstrom of emotions. It's amazing. but for all the wrong reasons, and you come away feeling like, and there's no birds that sing there, and it's a quiet, and all of that sort of thing. So we're sort of thinking about that, and I'd love to go, and I'd love to visit, and our two girls want to. So potentially, we might end up doing that back end of next week.
Fair play. Actually, you know, you're doubling up there, really, because you've got the Anne Frank house first.
Absolutely.
And obviously, there's artifacts there, and there's details of her time in Auschwitz there.
And it's weird because we didn't get Anne Frank tickets initially, because they're sold out, and but every week they just release literally like a handful for the following week. And you go online, it's like booked out. Can't get tickets for love and money. You can walk past the house and you can see it, but you can't go in it. And every Tuesday, my wife has been jumping online about 9 o'clock, pretty much trying to get a couple of tickets. She went, trying to get some, and we got some. So actually now, when we're actually going into the house, so that would be like amazing. Is to go into the house to see it and this, that, and the other, and then potentially like 3 days later, come home and spend a day at home, and then go to the place, and you're like, oh wow, that would be pretty cool. No, not cool.
No, I know what you're saying.
It's hard to describe what emotion you feel, I suppose.
It is. It's very emotional. It's very somber. You're not allowed to take photographs while you're in there, which obviously you would expect.
Have you been?
I've been to.
You've been. Have you?
Yeah. It's very. It's moving. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, you are going around. It is a house. It is a house in Amsterdam. You could walk past it in the street, and not know too much about it. I guess. You know, obviously there's a huge line outside of there. But everybody knows the story. You know, we've all read a diary when we were at school. You know, it was part of the text that we that we studied, and having known the history. So to do that, and then I guess to do Auschwitz at the end of it as well, dude. At the end of the week, I tell you what, dude. It gives you some food for thought. That does.
Yeah. Any of you been to Auschwitz? Have you been? You haven't been, have you? Dave, have you been? Pete, have you been?
No, I haven't. No, it's. I think it's somewhere I'd like to go to. I think Catherine probably would as well, and probably the kids. But it's a challenge, I guess. It's going to challenge your emotions, and I guess you've got to appreciate it, and you've got to learn from it. And it's enjoyable, but I know what you mean, guys. You're trying to pick your words very carefully, because it is cool and it would be enjoyable. But that doesn't mean you're going to have fun. But there's a lot to be learned, and I think I would imagine that it puts into perspective everything you think you already know, and all of a sudden it just probably hit you and think, shit, this is really here, really happened.
Yeah. And one of our friends was saying that their daughter had been on like a school visit there. And they're old enough to understand the story and understand the implications of what Auschwitz was, and they said that because they were in a school trip and they arrived on a coach and whatever, they said genuinely they felt as though they were going to Auschwitz, like not just to see it, but they generally felt like, they said everybody when they first got on the coach, they were like not quite singing and dancing and laughing, but there's quite an upbeat atmosphere, and the closer that they got, the atmosphere on the coach changed, and they actually genuinely felt as though they were going to Auschwitz effectively to die, sort of thing, and they said actually the whole of the bus, the mood just completely changed. So like you said, Dave, it's cool is the wrong word, but it'll be enjoyable, but for all the wrong reasons. And it's somewhere that I feel as though you've got to go and you've got to witness and you've got to see, and if we don't go back in the next week, we will go at some point. I just think it might be that closure of the circle where you go to Anne Frank's house and you do that in Amsterdam, and then you think a couple of days later you then go there. That would be like, I mean, what a week that would be. That'd be like, wow, type thing, just to round that off, and it would be cool and amazing, and what an experience. But as I said, for all the wrong reasons in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. But an experience that's worth doing, because I think if you can learn from everything, and that's what we try and do with our podcast as well. We try and give you something you can learn from. So hopefully we've given you some food for thought in this episode tonight. So we're going to close it out. We're going to talk a little bit of sport, I guess. You know what I mean? One of the side projects that we did, we're looking at doing what a new side project. One of the ones that Gaz and I did earlier in the year that we will revisit at some time, point is Odds Fellows, where we talked about some sports betting. We talked about some sports. Now, it's been a big weekend of sport this weekend. So anybody watch the Usyk Fury fight? Dave, I'll come to you first. I know you're a big boxing fan.
No, not in the slightest. Who are they? Is that hang on, Fury? He's the Tyson
That's-
Fury,
That's the one.
and Usyk, he's the Russian.
Oh,
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian, yeah. Don't call him Russian.
Yeah, he might not like that. He might not appreciate that.
Ukrainian. Okay, yeah. Okay.
You
Is that the one? Is that the one that they've been trying to get on for like 10 years or something?
Yes, yeah. Well, Fury's not interested in the money, but he finally signed on when he got 70% of the purse.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly, yeah. Pete, did you watch it?
I missed it sadly this weekend. I was out.
Okay, yeah. I'd say I didn't. I've seen a rerun on various dodgy social media sites and stuff. I didn't watch it live. I thought Fury came across after as a bit of a dick, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, I watched it and I thought Usyk won the fight. Decent rounds mid-fight. I felt as though Usyk won the fight, and
Yeah,
I'm not.
100%.
I mean, I'm not a boxing expert at all. I'd like to think I'd know a bit about it, but then to come on afterwards and go like, yeah, but Ukraine at war, and that's why I got the decision. No bollocks, mate. Just you just got beat. Like, just do it. You got beat. Just be magnanimous. Say the better fighter won on the night, and I look forward to a rematch. That's all you need to do, because it's obviously a rematch clause. All you need to do is say, you know what, he's better than me tonight on this occasion, but I look forward to next time, and the result will be different. Don't bring in saying just because Ukraine are at war, that's why you got the vote from the judges. That's just bollocks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And like I said, and he was very lucky not to get knocked out on the night.
I think the ref stopped him.
Yeah.
Well, not stopped him. I think Usyk had him.
Oh,
and the ref gave him a standing count. And I think if the ref had let Usyk throw one more punch, I think Tyson gets knocked out.
Game over. Yeah,
doesn't he? I think he's literally about to throw a punch, and the ref stepped in and goes like one and gives Fury a standing count, and you're like, and I suppose it was a good standing count, but it gave Fury a bit of time just to sort of recover and stuff. But yeah, I just think just show a bit of class, unlike your dad who nutted some guy just show a bit of class, show a bit, just a bit magnanimous in defeat. Just what, on this occasion he got the better of me. Hold my hands up. He's the better fighter on the night. Simple as.
He's got a good record. However, I think some of the comments he made sort of tarnish that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
100%, mate, 100%.
And I don't, my personal opinion is I don't think his dad helped. Some of the comments he was making, obviously, his other coaches were talking tactically, and I think his dad was probably talking with emotion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Obviously, they all thought that he did enough.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't leave it to chance.
No, and I think look, I didn't think he won, and loads of people didn't think he won, and there isn't anybody really that either I've read or I've heard on social media that thought he won the fight. So everybody felt as though Usyk won the fight. So it's one of those.
Yeah, and he's the better boxer. Funnily enough, we should dig out the audio. There was an episode that we did, me, you, and Andy, and both Andy and I said that we thought when those two guys got it on, that Usyk could win, and you said no, Fury's.
Well, it's interesting because and I genuinely think in the rematch, I think what will happen is that, and I didn't expect really Fury to slim down as much as he did, because he shredded loads of weight.
He did.
Now, Fury, I take your point that Usyk probably technically is a better boxer, but I just thought Fury would use his size, use his weight, lean on him a lot more. But actually, he shredded down so much that there wasn't a significant difference. Yeah, there was but there wasn't a massively significant weight difference. And I wonder whether or not when the rematch, Fury probably keeps on a bit of timber and leans on him and mauls him and doesn't allow him to do the things that he wanted to do. And I hold my hand up. I thought Fury would beat him, but he didn't. And actually, Usyk proved he was technically a better boxer, and he was quicker, he was better movement and all of that, and probably in fight management and all of that, he was smarter than Fury. So I've got no issues with it.
Yeah, he's a much better boxer, and I think his work rate is unusual, and that he throws a lot more punches going towards the end of the fight. His work rate steps up at the end of the fight, where most people will step down as they get tired. The other bit of sport, obviously, that was on the weekend, as an Arsenal fan, it's difficult to talk about. But yeah, so the title was decided. Man City 4 titles in a row.
Unheard of, unprecedented.
115 charges as well. That's unprecedented, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the 150 charges are never going to happen, are they? So let's just discount that, because they've been talking about it for a year. Yeah, they charged Everton, my team. They charged Forest. They've charged Leicester. they haven't charged City. Oh, well, there's a shock horror. Why? Because Man City are too valuable to the Premier League to dock them any points because they bring in all the revenue. There's the Middle East money, etc., etc., etc. And I've said it before on a podcast. Man City are too valuable to the Premier League in order for the Premier League to do anything about it. So what they're going to do is they're just going to keep these charges and this thing running and running and running. They'll never get to court. Nothing will ever happen. And before you know it, 18 months, 2 years later, the charges are forgotten about and crack on.
Yeah. Which team do you follow, by the way, Pete?
Well, you thought you had a rough weekend. I'm a Manchester.
But you won. That's the good news.
We won a match. You know, you've got to take
the positives. Yeah, you won a game of football. Although I have just had a £10 bet at 15-2, which is 7.5 to 1 for people on very good at maths. That Pochettino will be the next Manchester United manager.
Oh, really?
I have.
I think he should have been.
Yeah.
And I've also had a £10 bet on De Zerbi being the next Chelsea manager, because I think De Zerbi goes from Brighton to Chelsea, and I think obviously Poch now isn't at Chelsea, so I think De Zerbi's not at Brighton, so he goes in straight to Chelsea. Poch goes into United, and I suspect, and I don't know this, Ten Hag, will he go to Munich? Because obviously the Munich guy, and I'm not sure whether he's been there before, but I suspect he might go back there. But yeah, I've had a tenner on De Zerbi to be the next Chelsea manager, and I've had a tenner on Poch to be the next Man United manager. Yeah, it wouldn't let me put it in a double, and I don't understand why it wouldn't, because so it wouldn't let me put it in a double. But I've had £10 singles, but I'd have wanted that as a double because those odds had been pretty cool, to be fair.
Oh,
but it wouldn't let me put it in a double, so hey ho, shit betting site.
Well, I'll tell you what then. While we're talking about betting, I'll give you some Super Bowl odds, dude. Bears.
Good odds.
Go on. What do you think?
25 to 1.
33 to 1.
That was all right. That's not a bad guess.
Steelers.
33 to 1.
50 to 1.
Yeah,
not happy.
I was being quite kind on you, Eddie. I mean, look, I don't really follow American football, Pete, but I was a bit gutted to see Justin Fields go because I think he's a really decent quarterback. However, the guy that we picked up in the first pick, look, let's wait and see. I hope he's as good as people say he is, and I hope we build the offense around him. We'll wait and see.
Well, I know one thing. We have a draft expert with us tonight, Dave. Tell us about the draft, because you learned a lot about it on the episode that we did last year.
The draft. Okay, so the draft in American football, that's where you get the thousands of players across the country that all the teams can pick, and the shitter you were in the previous season, the higher up the pick order you are. But you can trade your picks as well. So you can basically do some backroom dealing. And then the whole draft thing, that takes weeks and weeks. And all of these people do all of these fitness things. They run around, they get filmed. It's all streamed. And they see how high they can jump, how fast they can run, how fit they are. All the stats are compiled. And then basically it becomes a big game show on the TV where they basically nominate who they want for their pick. And there's loads of drama because everyone thinks Billy Bob's going to be pick number 1, but actually nobody wants him because they found out he'd actually got a drug conviction the night before. So he gets right down the picking order to about 47, gets picked up by the Dallas Cowboys or something. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
You should work for NBC, dude, because you've absolutely hit the nail on the head with that. Well, that's an amazing review.
That's pretty much it.
Actually, to be fair, what you spoke about there, it wasn't quite the draft. So the combine is where all the college players go. So it's called the combine. All the college players go, and that's where they jump high and run fast and this, that, and the other, and catch and throw and all of that. And then what happens is all the results from the combine then get fed into all the scouts and all the franchises. And then at that point, they have their war chest and go, well, we want this guy, and we want this guy, and we want this guy, etc., etc. But yeah, that was pretty good, dude. For somebody that knew absolutely nothing about the draft, that was impressive.
Well, that was, that I can't remember the name of the guest. We had 2 guests on, didn't we, over a short space of time? And actually, that bit was the most interesting. I mean, the game itself's a bit stupid, but that bit was quite interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you follow American football, Pete? Do you watch? You don't know. You need to get into it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
we had two guys on from the Pigskin podcast.
That's
didn't
right.
we?
Yeah.
And they were very good. And to be fair, if you were to go back and listen to that episode, we actually picked the two teams that were going to compete in the Super Bowl.
Did we get that right?
We got it right.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
right.
See,
yeah.
we sort of know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, we got
sometimes.
lucky.
Yeah.
We got lucky. We got lucky. So we're bringing it up now to round about the hour mark. In fact, it's exactly just an hour.
There you go. Good work, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's even with my appalling eyesight. So, Pete, did you want to tell us one more time where can we find Competition Arcade online?
Yes. So, as I mentioned earlier, on Facebook, but our main website is competitionarcade.com. We've currently got two draws on there at the moment. Got one free for a £50 delivery voucher or cash alternative. As part of that, we have this concept of instant wins, so you can essentially have more chances of winning a random prize along the way, which is cash. And also, we just launched today a £100 main prize and 40 instant wins as well, comprising of £20 and £10, £5 instant wins as well.
Fair play. Fair play. So get involved. And like we say, if you listen to this now, use the promo code TALLBOY15 and you'll get 15% off your entry on that first occasion only. Gaz, I'm going to leave it to you to close out this week because I'm going to run inside and turn it off. So give me the thumbs up when you're done.
No worries, dude. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. So obviously, I'm Pete Hahn talking about his newest venture, Competition Arcade. It's a fantastic opportunity. I absolutely wholeheartedly recommend that you all get involved with that. And fingers crossed. And you never know, you might see him on Dragon's Den in the future. Who knows where that goes? Dave, just before we get to Pete and we ask Pete to say his goodbye, any final thoughts?
Just actually on this very theme of Competition Arcade, a colleague at work was on entering one of the syndicate radio competitions, one where you have to answer the phone with "Make me a winner," and if you answer it with a hello, you lose. And he answered the phone with "Make me a winner" and won £190,000.
That's it. Make me a winner. Yeah. And we've all heard about. And then there's the other company that turn around and go, yeah, we don't want to have any praise. Just answer your phone and say hello, and then you win, sort of thing. So it is what it is. Pete, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight on Tallboy Radio. If you want to just say goodbye to our listeners and close it out.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully, I'm back again.
Absolutely, 100%. And we always say, when we have guests on, if they want to come back on to Tallboy Radio, we're absolutely more than happy to have them. So it just is left for me to close this episode and to say next week we will be talking about something completely different.